Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Trench Talk, episode number 5. Today, we're thrilled to dive deep into the GeoStar product line. It's been the bedrock of our business for the last 6 years, and I'm thrilled to be able to offer that product line. So welcome to today's webinar. And today's agenda, why GeoStar, is going to be discussed. Go over the residential products, the commercial products, the featured product, the Sycamore, which is our largest selling product in the offering. Symphony, which is changed the landscape of how we can provide good technical support and remote monitor systems. Fantastic product offering. Talk a little bit about IntelliZone 2 and other accessories that GeoStar offers. And then definitely come with your questions at the end. Use the chat window to submit questions. So with a great deal of pleasure, I'm thrilled to have Chris Wasko on board today. He's been our rep for almost the entire time of working with GeoStar. He's the territory manager at Water Furnace International. And for those who don't know, GeoStar is a brand of the Water Furnace International company. So you may be familiar with the Water Furnace brand, but the GeoStar brand is one that goes to market through distribution. Chris has spent many years in our industry. He worked at Famous Enterprises, which is a distributorship. So he's got good distributor experience, and I've relied on him heavily to help navigate the challenges that distributors face. He's also an Air Force veteran, which is near and dear to my heart because I was in the Air Force myself. He's also a friend. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Chris. And thanks, Chris, for joining us today.
Thank you, John. And thanks for all the support over the years and promoting geothermal along with GeoStar. And you've been a great partner with us. And I can't express enough, and I know I can speak on behalf of everyone at Water Furnace and GeoStar that we thank you for that. Thanks everybody for joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about GeoStar, and we're just going to briefly go through some of it. We're going to talk about the product line, just kind of cover what we have available, and we're going to cover some of the accessories and some of the different things. And there's a highlight at the end where we want to cover more about the technical side, more some of the things that really play a big part in the setup, the design, and the after the install, the service side of it, and being there for your homeowners, your consumers. So bear with me as we go through this. So why GeoStar? So we have a complete product offering from residential to commercial. We're assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And that's a big deal. I mean, a lot of people think, when you're talking about manufacturing, where's it built? And you'll get that from a lot of consumers. So we're built right in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We're a premium geothermal product, innovative technologies. We're always looking to advance and become better situated technically and throughout our footprint of our equipment line. Multi-level support staff. Not only do you have John and Phoenix and the team there, but you have the support staff with John to support not only on the sales side through me and our sales team, but through the customers support staff, through the technical support staff, through the engineering staff, and through upper management staff. John knows as well as I do, we have a fairly open support system for John. And he spoke to just about anybody and everybody in the chain in every department in the company. So we're there to support him solely to help be there for you as well and all the customers that go to John. And if you're not one and you're attending, maybe you can become one. So No third-party warranties. That's a big deal too. I mean, when you're talking about dealing with manufacturers and warranties, we all know that in the history that there's been some manufacturers that had warranties through third parties that failed and went under, and what a catastrophe it's been. So our warranties are directly through us. So starting off with our forced air all-in-one units, our package units, you can see there in front of you, starting from the left, which is our Sycamore series, our variable capacity unit, which is through our 3 through 5 ton variable capacity. These units are exclusive to our elite distributors. John and his team have went beyond the limits of being able to be an exclusive elite distributor, so they are able to offer the Sycamore series through their location. The Sycamore series has many different configurations that are available to it, and we'll talk about that in a second as we move along. But moving to the right of that is our Aston Advanced series, which is a 2 through 6 ton dual capacity unit. To the right of that is an Aston series. It's available through 1 through 6 ton single speed, 2 through 6 ton dual capacity as well. And then our Magnolia Plus on the other side, which is our value and performance model, which is available 2 through 6 ton as a dual capacity. Now, the thing about these units is basically the differences in them is going to be in the efficiencies from left to right being most efficient down. But that doesn't mean that they're not available and capable for almost all of the stuff, because if you look at the very bottom, you see the Energy Star rating. All of our units, almost all the models, including the PSC models with the PSC fans in them, meet the requirements for the Energy Star rating and for the federal tax credit. So when you're looking at the left Sycamore, you're looking at a unit that's packaged available in vertical top, vertical bottom flow. It has a rear flow capacity on, or rear flow configuration as well. Horizontal configuration, which is, you know, with an end and side discharge on it as well, and all left and right returns. Same with our Aston Advanced series. Our Aston series, the only difference between the Aston and the Advanced is going to be when it comes to the configurations, is going to be the rear discharge. Is not available in the Aston series. Now, when you get down to the Magnolia Plus, it's as well limited as well on that, and it has the bottom flow as well is not available in the Magnolia Plus. All these units have aluminum coils in it, which all of our units do, and we'll talk about that in a minute. These are indoor-outdoor split units. So we do have those available, and those meet many different kind of configurations when you don't have that basement or the ability to put a package unit in, or you have an attic access where you got to have a split unit in there, or a dual fuel application where you might have somebody that really likes their existing equipment, wants to get more efficient and have a geothermal unit, where you can go ahead and add that on there as a split unit as well and give them the best of both worlds. And I think once they have the taste of geo, they're going to probably never want to run their backup heat ever again. So starting on the left, you got Aston Advanced series indoor split, and then to the right of that, the Aston series indoor split. Now, the difference between the two of these is going to be mostly in the controls, a little bit in some of the other aspects, but it's mostly going to be in the controls of the units. When you get into the Advanced series, our Aurora controls, which is throughout all of our units, except for one. You have the Aurora controls, which has some of our monitoring in it, which is refrigerant, energy, and performance monitoring. When you get into our Advanced series, and on the last slide, you had the Aston Advanced on there as well, on the dual speed, you have the Aurora controls in there as well that have the option to have the advanced controls with energy monitoring, refrigerant monitoring, and performance monitoring. And we'll talk about that in a few slides when we get to one of our tools and devices, about how those come together and how they make a unique set of tools combined to really, really enhance your abilities to not only set up the unit, but to work on it as well. So you have the Aston indoor split, which is the 2 through 6 ton, available in single capacity and dual capacity. The Aston Advanced series to the right of that, which is the third unit to the right, Aston Advanced series outdoor split. These are 2 through 6 ton dual capacity units. These have the option to have the the flow centers and the pumps put into the unit on the outside. So you'll have the convenience of having everything all in one place when you're working on it. These units are used in applications where you just don't have quite enough room on the inside to install a unit, or have access for an area to where you can put the utilities in there. So you're able to put this on the outside of the home in a split application, being able to use it with an air handler in an attic space or wherever you may choose. To the right of that is our Aston series outdoor split, which is the 2 through 6 ton dual capacity. And that's, the difference between the Aston series and the Aston series Advance is going to be in the control options on the Aurora controls. So on this one, we have the forced air hydronic combo Cypress series unit, which is a multifunctional unit, which gives you not only forced air, but you have a hydronic option on it as well. So this allows you to be able to duct in a air system and then also have the ability to have a hydronic side to it for some radiant floor heating or whatever means that may end up meaning. Now the difference between the two, they don't run tandem, they don't run together at the same time. You got to have them set up as a priority. So you're either running one or the other at the time, but you do have the option to be able to run that, which gives you quite a bit of flexibility in multiple ways to help a consumer with their home as far as the different ways you can heat and cool the environment. The Cypress unit is the only unit that currently we do not have the Aurora controls in it. We hope to be able to accommodate that in the future, but as for now, they are not available in there. But it does meet all the requirements for Energy Star, and it is a very, very handy unit. So if you ever have a chance in the application it works out, that's a wonderful unit. The Aston Advanced Series single hydronic to the right of that comes in 1.5 through our 5 tons. So there are 6 sizes available in there. These are single speed units only available in this. They all qualify for the federal tax credit. So if you have hydronic needs where you're looking to do some radiant floor or even any other baseboard heating, or if you have radiators in any application, this unit can be used for that. We have all the accessories to back it up with all the tanks and flow centers you may need to be able to make that application work. Move to the right of that, you have the Aston series single hydronic, which is the next step with the Advanced series above it. Again, the difference between these are going to be mostly in the controls and operation on that level of the extra features you're going to be able to get with it. The Aston Advanced series with OptiHeat, it's a 3 through 6 ton available. It's a single speed unit, but it has a little bit higher temperatures to be able to meet some of those higher demand temperature applications you may have out there. If you ever have these options available where you have a temperature that just got to be a little bit warmer, this unit's going to help tremendously. But when it comes to the design, work close in hand with Phoenix on this unit to be sure that you understand the full scope of water temperatures and flows that are required for this unit. It definitely needs to be set up and designed in a particular way, and doesn't have a whole lot of forgiveness in some of those aspects. So make sure that you do cover those before you want to put one of these in. It does qualify for the energy tax credits, so it's a great unit to be able to use in the hydronic applications with the higher temperatures. If you have anything that's a little bit larger, or you're needing a little bit more of tons requirements, we have the Aston Advanced Series dual hydronic to the far right. That comes 8 through 15 tons. So there are 4 sizes available, and all sizes meet the federal tax credit on that as well. We do have some commercial products available as well, along with our residential line. Now you'll see on there that this was taken out of a book that needs updated, obviously, but it has a quick ship available in there, which in these days, we all know that with the supply chain issues and with everything going on, that quick ship may not be exactly the right words to use for anything that's being applied today. But we have some available. We have the Arbor Series Compact, which is a unit that can be used in commercial applications. It's a budget model. It works very well when you're looking at cooling towers and boiler operations, or condo units where you're looking for a small compact unit. This unit fits very well into those applications. Moving to the right of it, is an Aston series compact. You're getting more bells and whistles in this unit. It's available from 3/4 ton to 6 ton. So you're able to have a lot more monitoring, a lot more abilities into this, and being able to include having the reheat kits, refrigerant reheats and everything in there as well for dealing with humidity and stuff. You get over to the Aston Series XL, you're into a vertical and horizontal models as well in there. This is larger ton, which is available from 7 to 30 tons. We also have Aston Series console units. So if you have any applications out there where you're looking for an all-in-one console unit that sits in many applications, you find a lot of hotels and apartment complexes may have these in them that are using cooling tower boiler operations as well. You even see these with some chiller applications with some cooling towers. These are used a lot in there, but we have 2 different ones. You have the low sill application and the Aston standard that come with slant top on them. They have the compressor and everything in already inside the units. They also have fresh air intake on the back. It's available with small electric backup heat systems put in. They're available 3/4 to 1.5 ton on both of those series. If you go over to the Aston series single hydronic, this is basically very much like the residential Aston series we had, but this is going to allow you to have more voltage options on it and some configuration differences, being able to move around some of the configuration on it to meet some of those demands you might find in commercial. The unit to the right, the Aston series dual hydronic, which is a 2-stage unit with an 8 to 15 tons available. So all of our products, commercial and residential, do have all aluminum coils in them, so stops former corrosion dead in its tracks. So the featured product is our Sycamore variable speed package unit. You can find the literature on this unit at the phoenixenergysupply.com/Sycamore. He has it all the information for GeoStar there, including the Sycamore model and features. So we'll just go ahead and click through these, John, one at a time. Variable speed water air unit. It has the vertical and horizontal option on it as well. Comes in a 3, 4, and 5 ton capacity. Has discharge configurations on it for vertical where you can go top, bottom, or rear. You also have horizontal application with an end and side. It has air configurations of left and right. It's a 208, 230 single phase with hot water generation available to it too. So if you're looking for some residential, being able to heat their domestic hot water, we have that available in almost all of our models. Some of them you may have to add a pump onto it, that the pumps do not come internal. So check with the configurations before you order it to know that you need those pumps that may be external. But almost all of our units have hot water available. Blower options, variable speed ECM blower. It also has a high static available. So if you need that, it's in a 3 ton available, so that you're able to get a little bit more oomph and power out of that. The coaxial options for the water, we have a copper and copper nickel, depending on your water quality and the needs and demand for servicing the unit. If you're on an open loop or closed loop, you're able to choose the 2 different options there. The filter is set up as a 2-inch MERV 11 filter. We have control options on it as well, the J and K series on there. So the first one is the Aurora variable speed controls. That also comes with energy monitoring and refrigerant monitoring as standard in that control. So if you move up to the K option, you're getting the performance monitoring added into it. Sycamore model features. So basically efficiency is what this unit was born for, right? It has 20 to 100% capacity. So anywhere up and in between, this unit has the ability to maneuver the fan speeds, the compressor, and the flow centers all in unison to be able to operate this unit at efficiency levels that are up to a 43.5 EER and a 5.1 COP. Some of the highest levels you're going to find in any HVAC there is out there, even including in any geothermal equipment you can find. So quiet is my middle name. So the 20 to 100% capacity, that's going to allow the unit to not only have a variable speed drive soft on it, which has a quieter startup, but discharge mufflers that reduce the compressor sound levels, double isolation mounted Danfoss variable speed control, and the 20 to 100% variable capacity also allows the unit to run the lower airflow and compressor speeds. When you combine all that, the unit runs typically between the 20 to 35 to 40% range most of the time, the unit is very, very quiet. Not only with the discharge air coming out, the velocities that it does at those lower abilities to run, but in the sound of the unit overall. So very, very quiet units, one of the great features of the variable speed unit. The Aurora Interface and Diagnostics tool. This is one of our tools that you can use on any one of our units, whether it's residential or commercial. You have the ability to plug this in either into the control board or an outlet that's supplied to you on the front of the unit. This aid tool allows you to work internally in the unit and look around inside to see what's going on by looking at dip switch settings and being able to even change them, looking at the blower fan, the ECM settings, thermostat and other inputs, sensor inputs, the relays and the other outputs that are going on, the timers in the unit, current historical faults, pretty much unlimited. You're not going to find it where they're going to be erased and you're going to have to look. It pretty much has unlimited historical faults in it. The Aurora system configuration software versions in it also as well. So when you plug this tool in, it's going to give you everything you need to see. And when you combine it with performance, energy, and refrigerant monitoring that you get on the Aurora controls on the advanced units, it makes the aid tool become a very, very powerful tool. So you can have this tool used for, you can walk into a unit, plug it in without any tools and be able to almost pretty much diagnose a unit without having any tools available to you. In which anybody out there that has technicians that works on any kind of critically charged refrigerant system, this tool, is going to play a big part, because you do not want your techs plugging in their hoses to the refrigerant system to be able to find out what's going on with the refrigerant system just as a diagnosis reason, because a couple trips out there doing that and their 16, 17-foot hoses they have, you're going to find out that within just 1 or 2 trips, your unit's running 30, 40% less efficient because it's missing 20% of its refrigerant. So this unit, with the energy monitor, refrigerant monitoring added in, allows the aid tool to see everything you need to know with refrigerant without ever taking the doors off of it. So that's going to help you save on some possible faults going forward with refrigeration as far as technicians go. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, Chris, I'd like to add also that
Sure.
We offer a free aid tool with your first Sycamore purchase as an extra incentive, because that tool is useful on all GeoStar equipment. But if you order a Sycamore, we'll give you one for free.
Excellent. We also have what's called Symphony, which is a web-enabled Wi-Fi comfort system. This system is basically you got out in the field. You have Wi-Fi thermostats available all over the place for people for different types and different applications that they cover. Basically, most of it's a lot of fluff. Most of them don't have too much substance with them. Symphony allows you to do a lot more than what you see. Some of them change current set points, but they don't do schedule changes. They have no lockout information that's transferred from the unit, no fault notifications for homeowners or dealers. Some of them don't have very much when it comes to zoning included. They don't have very much data available. We believe that Symphony, basically overall, the capabilities of it is going to set the standard for everyone in the market. So we're looking at the consumer view here. Yeah. This is kind of what it looks like. You got somebody sitting there with a tablet. They're able to sit there, look at this from anywhere remotely, and they're able to see the current status of their unit. Is it in standby? Is it in operation? Is it in cooling, heating? They can see the thermostat summary, what the temperatures are, heating and cooling set points. They get to see their temperatures on the right. They can see what the weather is, what the weather conditions are going on. They get to see what the equipment summary is, what's going on with the return air, what the temperature ranges are, what the humidity levels are. Is the compressor running in speeds? What's the fan motor running? What's going on with it? They have the ability to also see what the operation of the current energy use is. And they even have an energy use mapping in there to where they can see what their system's actually using when it comes to energy cost. Then there's the tech view. This is where it gets really nice. When you get into the tech view, you get into some incremental data. The unit is uploading, when you have the energy monitoring, the refrigerant monitoring, and the performance monitoring added in, it is uploading the entire operation of that unit's data points into a cloud, which we call Symphony, that every 10 seconds. Pretty much a live operation version that you can log into as a dealer remotely and see a unit in every aspect ratio of what's going on, what the thermostat inputs are, what the heating and cooling is, what's going on with the water loop temperatures, refrigerant temperatures, outdoor air temperatures, and see what position the unit's going and running in at the very current moment that you're watching it. You can even put it in test mode from here remotely and have the unit running from wherever you're at. And we're going to show you some of that as we go along into the preview. It gives you also a troubleshooting, a heat pump in there, where it puts the inputs of what's going on in the system currently into there, so you can actually in real time see how that unit's operating as a chart in front of you to say, hey, you know what? Here's where we may have a problem when you're looking at where all these points are for temperature ranges. You may be able to pick it out just by looking at this, seeing where the discharge temperature is versus the latent temperatures and what's going on with the airflow going across the coil. Maybe we don't have enough airflow and it shows up in the temperature difference, which could easily be a dirty filter, which can save you a trip and the homeowner a lot of money. So this goes a lot further than just being able to look at data and information. It's going to play a big part in your technical abilities to service your consumers remotely without having to go to their home and be better prepared for that service call or what you may find out when you get there. It gives you large chart systems. It's going to allow you to see the compressors, what stage they're in, or if it's variable speed, where they're staged at in their speeds, what time did that change happen. And you'll be able to look at these data points based on possible failures. If the unit sends you an email and says, hey, I'm having problems here, I'm starting to shoot out some fault codes, you can go back in and look at the exact time the fault codes were coming out, and you'll be able to look at that and be able to pinpoint exactly what was going on with all of the system, including the compressor staging at that very moment it was going to pass out that code. So that you'll be able to determine maybe there was something happening in electrically, or with maybe part of the system wasn't running, and you'll be able to pinpoint exactly what's going on before you even make the phone call to the consumer. You can call them up and say, hey, look, we've seen there's a fault going on. Maybe the homeowner lives remotely from the home you're working on. They're on vacation. Hey, you got a problem going on there. Here's what we need to do to fix it. So for the homeowner, internet connectivity and equipment, they get to access and adjust thermostats remotely. They get notifications for system issues via email or text. They get add-on home sensors and energy monitoring as well. For the dealer, they're going to get remote monitoring of customers' equipment, notifications and the system as well, potential time and cost reduction in diagnostic repairs, which that's a big one. Anybody that's ever had it and used it, I guarantee you, within just a short period of time, they find the benefit of this just through that right there, the potential time and cost reductions. Plus, it separates you from your competition. No one else out there has anything really like this, and it's going to allow you to be able to sell that to the homeowner as an upsell in the way we service you and we take care of you after sale. Because the difference between a good installation company and a regular installation company isn't the install most times. It's what you're going to do after the installation. How do you take care of the customer? We also have zoning available in TeleZone. As you can see, a Sycamore is available up to 6 zones. The Aston Dual is 4 zones. Aston Single is 2 zones. There's a full color touchscreen master stat that comes with it that allows you with the diagnostics part of it. Eliminates a bypass damper as well. It's fully communicating with our Aurora controls. We also have a geo storage tank, 80 to 120 gallon version. It has a single 4,500 watt element available in it. You can also order a secondary one if you need to at an installation point. It comes with all of the connections you're going to need. It's available for you. So it's piped in and it's able to go right off the bat. It has built-in temperature sensors and extra thermostats as well. The unit is chilled water approved. So a lot of times you might find somebody might use just a standard water tank, which may not be applicable to use in a chilled water application because it's not insulated well enough. And if it's not insulated well enough for chilled water applications, you're going to find mold building inside the encasement. When it starts to condensate and build up moisture inside that lining, you're not going to see it until someone gets sick. So it's a good idea to make sure if you're using chilled water applications or anything like that, that you're using one that's certified, and our geostorage tank is. Flow centers and accessories, we have the whole backup products to be able to accessorize any of the units you may buy from us, from pressurized flow centers, non-pressurized flow centers, to large flow centers, to motorized valve systems and the hose kits, and also the piping and fittings to go along with it as well. Our residential warranties, standard coming out of the box, 5-year parts, 5-year labor allowance on refrigeration, 2-year parts, 2-year labor allowance on all parts and accessories. This does meet the AHRI and Energy Star ratings to be able to be certified for the energy tax credit. You can upgrade it to a 10-year parts, 10-year labor allowance on the internal parts, which also is a 5-year parts, 5-year labor allowance on accessories. Our commercial warranties are standard at 18 months on all parts from the date of shipping. There is no labor in our commercial warranties, but you can upgrade it to a 5-year compressor only, or 5-year compressor refrigerants, or 5-year all parts. And they are factory warranties. No third parties. That's a big deal. You're dealing directly with us. Design Studio is software that we have available to you that helps you design the system that you're looking for the loops and for the unit. And it also has some abilities at using the tool to be able to use it in some of your when you're out using proposals. It has a proposal tool in it that breaks it down, shows some energy savings, and how that unit's going to lay out through the summer and winter months as far as operation goes. Very useful tool. John and his team use it often. They have other tools. If you need trained on it, just let us know, and it's downloadable from one of our websites. Information pertaining to the equipment and the Sycamore model, all available at phoenixenergysupply.com/geostar. Just click on any of the units there, and it'll take you directly to where you need to be able to download any of the installation, homeowner brochures, installation technical bulletins, or technical documents there for any of the units.
I'm going to walk you through the entire process. It's already loaded with my credentials. I can sign in, and what I see, the first screen illustrates we have 4 units that have gone into a fault mode. It tells us the fault code, 165107, tells us the unit designation. Here's a 5-ton Sycamore with IZ2 condensate overflow. And when you get a fault like this, both the homeowner and you as a dealer get notified either by email or text. So you can actually, in many cases, be alerted to a fault long before the homeowner really experiences a comfort problem. So that's a powerful tool. If we go to those that are online, we currently have 266 systems online. We have 113 that are offline. They go offline for various reasons. Somebody's internet may be down, their Wi-Fi may be giving them trouble, any number of reasons. But let's look at a live unit, and I can search, and I'll look for a 5-ton Sycamore, and it reduces the list to all the 5-ton Sycamores that we're monitoring. We've got 5 pages, roughly 10 per page. So we've got close to 50 5-ton Sycamores. Let's just pick one in the middle here somewhere. How about this one in Manlius? We'll take a look at it. And it tells us the cooling set point and the actual temperature in this space. It tells us it's on cooling speed 4. And probably my most go-to screen is the troubleshooting screen. This gives us the schematic of the refrigerant circuit. It gives us all the data points. We've got 8 degrees of subcooling, Well, just changed to 13.7 degrees of superheat. That looks good. Our water, we're coming in at 76.7. Got a 5.8 degree rise, leaving at 82.7. I might say that maybe our flow rate is a little high because we can typically tolerate a 10 to 12 degree rise. So we can adjust pump speeds if we want to bring this up to closer to 10 degrees. We can also look at the air side. Going from 72 to 44, that's a 27.6 degree split, as we call it. It's quite high. If anything, I might increase the airflow to get it closer to 20, 22 degrees. So minor adjustments. We're operating right now on speed 4. The compressor's using 1127 watts. The fan's using 38 watts, which is amazing. It tells us our pump is operating at roughly 65% of full flow. So it's a pretty insightful screen here as to what's going on. Another favorite one is to go to historical data, and we can look up faults. And this one on July 11th gave us an out of envelope fault. That one does occur quite often in the early part of the cooling season when technically the compressor is not seeing conditions within a defined envelope. It's nothing to be alarmed about. It won't go into lockout. But let's just take a look at today's data. We can go to the 12th. And it downloads the complete 24-hour history in 10-second intervals. And one of my favorite graphs is the air side graph. So we can see this speed of the compressor is the lower chart. And during the night, the cooler hours, it was cycling on speed 1. And you see these spikes up to speed 6. And by design, every time the unit starts, it goes to speed 6 to make better oil circulation within the compressor itself. And even once it gets up and running, it'll start on speed 6, but every 30 minutes of runtime, it'll also bump up to speed 6. So you'll see these little spikes. But as we got into the warmer part of the day, we can see the compressor ramped up to speed 6 and occasionally went to speed 7. So we can see how it operated. We can get the supply air temperatures. And under these higher speeds, we were able to, one, maintain a constant return air temperature, but deliver cooler air to the space. It's a powerful tool. And if I can close that, other charts we may want to take a quick look at is water side. And this one's a little busy, but this illustrates the flow rate. This is one curve we look at. The delta T in the water. So entering and leaving water temperatures. You can see during the night when it wasn't running constantly, the delta T's are, and entering water temperatures are very mild. So you can expect some very good efficiencies. During the day, we're running more consistently at a higher speed. Our delta T's and entering water temperatures have risen to accommodate that change in load. So it's a powerful tool. You can access the aid tool remotely. You can, under diagnostics or system faults is a good one. We can look at the fault history. And it tells us how many times the unit tripped on a particular fault. and there's a lot of them that it keeps track of. Quite often the FP1 fault, which is freeze protection, you might get a few of those on startup when you're debugging the system. Another chart that I like is the geo energy. And this plots the actual energy month by month. And you can click on here and get a pop-up window. This 5-ton heat pump used 3,475 kilowatt hours for the entire year, which is incredibly efficient. It breaks it down by how many kilowatt hours on heating second stage or first stage. And you can see the dominance of first stage. So that's speeds 1 through 6. So if you could further break that down, it's probably running on speed 2 to speed 4 most of the time. Something I want to show you also is, let's go back in time. We can go back to what I remember as being a cold day, February 15th. And it downloads the full 24 hours of data. We can pull up a graph, air side, and we can see during the night, it ran at speed 6 or speed 7. And as the sun came up, it obviously, the load diminished. And then as it got dark out, it ramped back up to speed 6. So you can see how the system behaves on any day within the last 12 months. Powerful tool. So with that, I will flip it back to our presentation. And that concludes our remarks, and we'd like to see some questions, because I know we all like to answer questions. Let's see what the chat window has. I see Charlie has put in some links that you'll find helpful. The one question from Bill Nowak: does Symphony show real-time COP? No, but it presents all the data that you can calculate the COP from the data. It gives you all the individual watts and compressor and fan and pump, and the heat of extraction from the loop field in the heating mode. And then you use those numbers and you can calculate a COP. So let me move that out of the way. If we got any other questions. I see Charlie's put up our poll. I appreciate your feedback. And I'd like to also encourage you to go to our website, to the Trench Talk page, and offer up any suggestions of how we can make your life easier by sharing technical information of any kind. We picked up 3 or 4 in the last week of ideas that we can talk about. And I appreciate that feedback, because we're here to really try to strengthen all of our skill sets and move this geothermal needle further in the marketplace. Let's see if we've got any other questions. Okay, we may take a last call for questions here. Give you a minute.
There has been a question. Where do I find information on the Sycamore?
On the Sycamore, that would be at our website. Let me bring that up. If we Phoenix Energy Supply website. I don't know if you see the chat window in the poll, but let me move those out of the way. Let's go to the home page of our website. And we list our 3 major lines, but the GeoStar product line, you just click on the image and you've got all the models. Now the Sycamore, the information is on our website. So you can go in here and get the brochure, the submittal, specification catalog, installation manual, and a little magic decoder ring to understand the model number system. We're also working on ways to configure a heat pump to meet your needs. It's sort of like a shopping cart. You can pick a tonnage. Let's pick 5 ton. What supply air, top, bottom, rear, return air left. Do you want a de-superheater? So you can configure these options, and that'll generate a very specific model number for you. So if you want a quote, I'd encourage you to go through this menu to get the exact model number that meets your needs. And then send us, copy this model number, send us an email. You'd like a quote on this exact model. Because quite often people will send in a request and say, I'd like a quote for a 5-ton Sycamore. And then we have to go back and ask all these questions as to what do you want in it. And I'll tell you right up front, we're building our inventory of stock units. They're going to be top discharge, left or right return air with a de-superheater, the variable speed blower, a standard copper. So this is already configured for our standard stock unit. But if you want something different, then go through this configuration tool and ask for a particular model number that may not be in stock, but we can certainly order it for you. So, any other questions? Let's pull up the chat window here. Now, I see Charlie pointed you to where you can find our Trench Talk library. Bill's asked another one. Anyone want to consider converting my home in Buffalo with a steam heating system in a very small urban yard? I know Bill's trying to walk the talk here and get geothermal in his house. So some homes are a bit more challenging than others. Let's go to the Trench Talk library. Let's see if this works. So if you go to that link, you'll see all our previous recordings. And our goal is to build this up and have all sorts of information at your fingertips. This is also where you can enter suggestions for future Trench Talks. It's anonymous. You fill it out and hit submit, and hopefully we can meet your needs. So with that, we're going to bring this session to a close. We'll let you out a few minutes early. First of all, I want to thank Chris for being there and doing this for us. And I want to wish the rest of you a good evening. And hopefully we'll see you all next month. So thank you very much.